on, everybody? Welcome to episode 1060 of Flow Wrestling Radio Live. Very, very special show for you. I'm Christian Piles, joined today, James Dean Rader to my right, to the left, Tyler Meisinger, to the left, Andrew Spey, and joining us, very, very special guest, three-time NCAA champion, Olympic silver medalist for the Iowa Hawkeyes, Spencer Lee. Spencer, good morning to you. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing so good. Excited to have you on, man. Was an amazing ride watching you from making the team, qualifying the way through the Olympic trial or through the Olympic finals tournament. Obviously, after the tournament, there was an element of disappointment. But as the time has passed for you, Spencer, have you been able to find an increased satisfaction? Just what an amazing job you were able to do in the last 6-8 months.
Well, I would say I know that there's a lot of work that went into the, achievement of medaling at the Olympics. So I do have some satisfaction, but I do think I would have preferred to have lost in a different way. Just like kind of going out swinging. That's kind of how I think so. I think that's what affects me the most.
Yeah. What have you rewatched the match since it's happened?
No, but it's pretty easy to remember everything. There wasn't a whole lot that happened in that match.
Yeah. So you talk about, going out swinging. What was it? I mean, anyone that's watched you wrestle knows like offense. That's a hallmark of your game. Was it something in particular he was doing that was able to kind of prevent you from getting to his legs?
Probably not. I mean, I didn't really we both were very wary. I mean, he took maybe 3 or 4 shots, and there were only one real shot, and he got into scramble. I just think that we were both feeling each other out. We both kind of dominated everyone else, so kind of knew that it was going to be a good match. I think he had a good game plan, and he wanted to keep it close, and that definitely benefited him, obviously, since he won.
Yeah, and for me, that match, a lot of the discussion around that match as it concluded, some of the edge tactics he used, grounding himself. Did you anticipate that being an obstacle for you? And there were a couple times you were nearly able to lift him up. Did you think you were close to being able to pick him up for that step out?
I think it's hard because the rule is so all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, even if I picked him up and he was like kind of down on the ground, like there's like a plane, I guess, and I don't think there was ever a chance unless he stood up, and he wasn't going to do that. And it's hard because he's so quick, and if I try to run corner, and I step out, like he gets a point, even if I get around him. So it's like, how do you wrestle that position,
Yeah, there were a few times off of his single leg. I think he got in deep on the single twice, and you were able to like sprawl it off pretty easily. How close do you feel like you were to kind of dragging and being able to run behind there? Because it looked like it was pretty close.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I was like behind him, but that's a wrestling tactical or technical error. I went to the waist of the leg, and he was able to just kind of hustle it out. So I think it's just a bad habit that I probably created, just taking people down using that.
Yeah.
So,
and the exchange where he gets the two, I mean, that was for a wrestling fan or non-wrestling fan, just that entire exchange was, I think, such a great display of wrestling from both. How were you able to nearly? What was the feel there when he shot that double that you were able to nearly counter? Like what were the main tactical tactics that were used during that scenario?
Well, I have pretty good hips, so I'm kind of hard to just like blast. Even if you pick me up in the air, like that's not even half the battle. As you guys saw, like I got my hips under me and I kind of cartwheeled out of it. I tried to I remember feeling that I could like pull him to his back, and he caught my elbow. So when I pulled, instead of just like sprawling and like circling out and like going for a headlock, I went for like a move because I don't know why I felt it, and he hooked my elbow and I just flipped straight to my back. I just remember just going on my back and like, how'd that even happen,
Yeah. There was a lot of discussion, kind of switching gears a little bit, a lot of discussion post Olympics or around the Olympics about weight classes. During the final press conference, the topic of the weight was a common thread. Amon said he was literally cutting weight all night to make weight.
So was I.
I heard I heard stories about some of the some wrestlers in the weigh-in area. Do you have any? What was it like back there? And could you tell that some of the guys were having a harder time than others with 57?
I mean, not really. I mean, we're all kind of just standing there. The only guy I saw that might have been hurting was Albanian. So, but he didn't like really show it. I could just tell he just looked skinny compared to like when like when I watched him. So I could tell we were all hurting. Like I said, making 125 as a grown man is pretty hard. The first time's not hard. The second time is definitely harder.
Yeah.
So,
Would you advocate for them lifting the minimum weight a couple kilos?
no, I mean I like 57. It's been that way a long time. I mean, unless you give like a pound, maybe. I'd rather advocate for like a plus 2 kilos the next day, because like I'm at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
and I was cutting weight, and not only was I cutting weight like super late in the night, the weight. Sorry if I'm losing you guys.
Yeah, I was losing
But
for a second there.
let's say weigh-ins are at 7, so like, but then I wrestled at 8 or 9 p.m. Like, why would we have weigh-ins so early? Like, they could move weigh-ins back a little bit, like give a little bit of weight. I mean, we all would have still been cutting weight if you give plus 2 kilos, but it would have been, definitely nicer. Everyone's like, "Ooh, got you made Olympic finals. Like, you celebrate?" I'm like, "No, I cut weight all night." Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that was a weird thing about the Olympics is that they totally changed how you do weigh-ins to accommodate for weigh-ins being able to happen at the Village. So it was totally out of alignment with how it's normally done in international wrestling, which I thought was really, really strange move.
It's an hour drive away almost.
Yeah. So you had to go, and you guys weren't staying in the Village, right? So maybe talk through that process, what that was like.
Well, no, we were in the Village for weigh-ins, but like the night before, 2 days out. But we trained in Normandy. Uh, sorry, speaking French.
Yeah.
The center for training, training center in Normandy.
Yeah.
It was really super nice. They did an awesome job. I was super appreciative of the French, but that was far away from the Village. So we trained there for a while, and then we went back to the Village, leading up to competition. So, and then we were in the Village the first 4 days, leading up to the opening ceremonies.
Nice. Next question for you. Let me find it right here. Here we go. We've been talking a lot of talk since the Olympics has been about rules. Are there any rules within freestyle that you would like to see changed that you think could improve the sport?
So I don't really think about it. I just kind of do what the rules are. Like, I guess you could say the grounded rule if you want to do that. But like the thing is like that's part of the rule. Like, that's a rule. You gotta. I think that maybe like just sitting down there should be more proactive with the ref or something, just to like get the wrestling going, go back to middle or whatever. Because there's no way I was gonna score. I probably wasted 45 seconds trying to pick them up. So
Yeah.
I don't really know. What do you think?
That's exactly what I think. I think the grounded rule literally makes no sense. Why you should be given some sort of benefit for dropping to your knees when you're neutral that doesn't make sense to me. You shouldn't be able to bail out. If you get driven out of bounds from your knees, that should be a point just as well as if you get driven out standing. I don't understand the difference. And I think we've seen these guys you make a rule, people will find an angle or an edge, and I think it's been exploited to a point where we're rewarding the wrong thing. So that's my opinion. That's kind of like a lot of our opinions about grounding. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it has a lot of utility. And freestyle overall is a great product. Otherwise, I'm curious. You've always been a freestyle first guy, and how has it been the last? I guess you graduated or finished your college career in 2023. What's it been like being full on freestyle?
Oh, I really, really like full-on freestyle. It's just better for me, just wrestling wise and training wise. folk style is such a grind, and not that I can't do it, but when you get older, I think freestyle is just more fun, to be honest. Like there's more flowing, more exploding. I guess more time, more uh, ability to like exploit
Hmm.
bad position and whatnot. Like folk style, every time bad position, they just roll, they just squeeze, hang on. So I think that's pretty boring, to be honest.
Yeah. Obviously, around Olympic quads is when you see transition of wrestlers to different weights or in and out of the sport. And as you do, you think much about the composition of your weight class, 57 kilograms domestically? Who might be there? Is there anyone? Gilman is maybe retired. Seems like he's retired. I don't know. It had been mentioned he was, and then he put out a post that he wasn't. But assuming Gilman's out of the picture, are there any other wrestlers that you kind of see coming, or you've been thinking about domestically that you view as potential challenges down the line?
Nah, I haven't really looked at all. I mean, I feel like the guys that were, top of the trials, barring the high school guys, the ones that forfeited out, um, they're not going to be at that weight class.
Yeah.
So, so I have no idea. I actually look forward to it, to be honest. I'd love to see what I'm going to have to wrestle.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on these high school guys? You had Jax Forrest, Marcus Blaze, Luke Lildahl, all high schoolers that were in your bracket. That was something that really, even you're not old, Spencer, but during your era, that wasn't really happening. What are your thoughts on the development
Right.
we're seeing of these high school kids?
Well, you have to realize too, 2016, it was night before weigh-in. I was qualified for the trials in 2016, but I wasn't stupid enough to. I knew my place. I think I could have scrapped any of those guys, but I had trained with Coleman Scott leading up to the Olympic trials. I trained with Dennis. I trained with Ramos. Not saying I couldn't have beat any of them at maybe in a on a blue moon, but they definitely would have beat me, I think. And I was too small at the time too, so it would have been fun. I wish I would have went, but I was coming off shoulder surgery and yeah, so
Are
I
you
had to get ready for Junior World instead.
are you surprised to see that many high schoolers able to compete, and like these guys aren't getting walked over at the trial tournaments? Are you surprised to see that many high schoolers are kind of senior level wrestlers at this point?
Not really, to be honest, just because that's just how the sport's been growing. Like these guys are training with bigger, older guys constantly. Like the expectation of their level is higher. The wrestling level of high school is higher, and it's going to continue to do that. Like if you go watch the 1960 Olympic finals, Terry McCann winning the gold for Iowa, like Hawkeye USA guy. Not saying I wouldn't, he couldn't beat me, but I'd like my chances.
Yeah.
So maybe in 60 years from now, might be the same thing. So
Yeah, it's definitely the evolution has been pretty insane. It feels like it's intensifying actually in a lot of ways. Um, what does this year look like for you competition wise? How much do you want to wrestle or plan to wrestle? Do you you're obviously sitting out to Final X. Have you given much thought to competing?
no, I mean, I like competing. Um, I've always wanted to wrestle in the Yari again. If that's a thing, if that's even allowed. I'd love to do that. Maybe I'll go to a ranking tournament. I don't know. I don't really like sitting around not having anything to do. But yeah, I'll help the college guys out. I'm still in Iowa City helping train with Austin, because he trained with me before the Olympics. So
Nice. Um, Speaking of Austin, World Team Trials are this weekend. Are you planning on watching? Clearly, you're going to be focused on DeSanto, but what's your excitement level just around watching the trials? A little less stress. You're not going to be in there. You're just going to be a spectator.
well, I mean, I think that it's awesome and sad because a lot of these guys, didn't know what to do, Olympic weights. So this is like their Olympics, unfortunately, for them. They didn't have the opportunity to become Olympians for the Team USA. For some of them, obviously, some of them did both. Um, but I'm excited to watch. I mean, there's a lot of good wrestlers. Might be the last time we watch Burroughs wrestle.
Mm.
Marcel or even, who knows? Um, 61's gonna be fun. A lot of those guys would have probably loved to wrestle 57 if they could make the weight or if they were healthy or whatnot. So I'm excited to watch it.
Tell me a little bit.
I would love to have competed.
Yeah, I know. Tell me a little about Austin's progression as a freestyler. He was a guy who really hadn't competed much in freestyle coming up, at least in the high school, college.
Oh,
But now it seems like he's been able to evolve a lot. Would you speak a little bit to his evolution?
well, he wrestled freestyle, I think, when he was like 10 years old or 11 years old. And that was the only time he's ever wrestled freestyle. So, like, when he got out of college, it was a huge learning curve for him just because, like, the way he developed his wrestling style definitely was more beneficial for folk style. Like, his defensive, like, counters and, his ties and whatnot. So, I think it was a learning experience because, like, so aggressive, then you getting rolled through and tipped, and all of a sudden it's 6-0, and you're the one who's on the leg with the stalemate. He's looking up like, oh my gosh, like he just got, he learned a lot, very, very short time. So
What's it like having, all right, if you have a practice day with Austin DeSanto, it's like, all right, you and me today, Austin. What's that like?
oh God, well, it depends. It depends if it's on our own or if Tom or Terry running it.
Tell us. I want to know about both, honestly, at this point.
Well, on our own, it's like we don't like stopping, so like it's just a long go. Usually on our own, it's like worse though, because like we pretty much just like headbutt and hand fight each other the whole time. But when there's like a finite time that we can wrestle, and there's a lot more scoring opportunities. So I think it's probably better if we're not on our own. We'll have like a 30-minute go, no scoring, just face beat up.
Dang, that sounds brutal. I met Bo Bassett. I don't know if you remember this, but when I came up to your place when you committed to Iowa, that's when I first met. Jody said, "Hey, you should interview this kid." Hey, he's so little. I'm like, all right, sure, fine. I'm like, we're at this practice and it's cool. So I interviewed this guy and I don't think anything of it. Now we've seen what Bo Bassett has become as a high school wrestler and a junior world medalist. He's a cadet world champion. How aware of Bo were you when he was that little guy, and how surprised or not surprised are you to see the level of success he's having?
Well, the thing is I remember asking Jody, like, who's the next guy you think is going to be like the face of Young Guns? And he doesn't really ever answer that unless he's like, sure. He said it was going to be pretty much Bo, even though I remember looking to look it up to my weight. I was like, all right, I believe you, Jody. I trust his judgment. He knows what he's talking about. And obviously, Bo's done really well now. He's got a lot more in his career to go. So, Jody knows.
Yeah, no doubt. Jody definitely knows. What are your thoughts? I mean, Bo is definitely, he's kind of forging a very unique path for a high school wrestler, just with his own promotion and his interest in brand. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, that's something even when you were in high school or around, that wasn't really a thing that was happening even at the most popular sports. What are your thoughts on that, and kind of where Bo is taking the sport as almost from a business perspective and brand perspective?
Well, college wrestling is a business now. So, like, I don't fault him for doing anything he's doing. He's trying to make, money. He's trying to promote himself. He's trying to grow the sport. I mean, he's doing all of it at once while he's trying to also win titles. So, I mean, he's not doing anything wrong. He's just trying to do what, I guess the market is asking of him now.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Hey, so you guys got this new, I haven't been there yet, but you got this brand new wrestling room. What's it been like training in there?
It's nice, it's big. Yeah, compared to like the other room was obviously super nice. Nothing wrong with our old room, just very nice upgrade, I guess. Very big. We have 6 mats now, and then everything's like new state of the art, I guess. So it's nice, it's new. It's got that new smell, I guess.
Nice.
It's like a new room.
That's good.
Pretty cool.
How excited should Iowa fans be for the squad this year? Obviously, you got a lot coming back. It seems like you're bringing in some new faces. How's the college team looking so far?
I think they're doing good. We're just getting into it, getting into preseason stuff. Our schedule's coming out soon, and then we're gonna be rolling. I'm excited to see what's going on because like I see all the new faces every year, and I'm like, because like I'm so focused on myself, like for that whole thing leading up to Olympics. Now I get here, I hear I don't even see, people just show up, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Because I don't really read stuff, so um, some of the guys I had no idea were even gonna be here.
Right.
So that was kind of cool seeing their faces in the room, oh, hey, what's up? Like, he's a Hawkeye now. Austin's like, apparently, just because we're in the club, we're just focused on ourselves, and the guys that we've been helping train and whatnot. So I'm excited to see the new squad, and I'm also excited to see the team come together and do their best. Tough year to win a national title.
Yeah. Um, what's your role within the college team? How much are you training with the college guys? Who are some of the guys? How far up in weight will you train with the wrestler? I know you and Real Woods used to have battles.
Yeah. I mean, I would say 41 is probably the biggest I'll go. I mean, I could wrestle 49, but man, not fun for me. Especially if I'm like training, I'm just so small. These guys are big, man.
Yeah.
They got 25 pounds on me. They're tall. I'm so short. I'm kind of a power wrestler too, so when they can match my power, be shorter than me, it's not very fun for me. But yeah, 41 is what I'll probably go up to. I'll wrestle anybody who has, it doesn't matter. If I'm like in my own little training phase, getting ready for a tournament, I can pick who I want. Same with whoever's starters are; they can obviously pick who they want as well. So
Yeah. Are there any other than 61, any World Team Trials weights you're particularly looking forward to? I mean, a lot of talk has been about Jordan, a lot of talk about if David Taylor is or isn't going to enter. That's still unknown at this point. But anything you're looking for?
I like I said, love to watch. He's a scrapper. So he makes the finals in that way. It'll be fun, and then obviously I want to see how Burroughs does. He's American hero, right? At
Yeah.
this point. And then, let's see who else signs up for 61. See who else shows up, Hope Gilman's not retired. I'd love to watch him wrestle more.
Yeah, I know it would be weird this one with Dayton there and them training.
That is weird. I guess if you're his coach now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, surprise, I'm entering.
That's stupid. Yeah, well, that would be sad. I guess that would be kind of dumb. This is, selfishly, I'd like to watch him wrestle more.
For sure. I mean, I thought, Gilman, he definitely had some variance in his performance. You saw how he looked against Zane Richards at Final X. And it's like, what happened? But then it felt like Gilman totally had returned to form by the trials. How did he feel from, you guys had trained back in the day when he was at Iowa, and then certainly you hadn't wrestled until that day in April. How did he feel to you comparatively?
Well, it's funny because I remember training with him, like, leading up to, like, me going into my year. And, like, I remember telling my dad, like, this guy's going to make our team. Like, he's good. Like, I feel like he was, like, underestimated a lot by a lot of people. Like, yeah, just because he didn't win a national title or whatever. We're like, oh, this guy's legit, And then he obviously made, like, 4 or 5 teams, 4 medals, whatever. So I just remember, like, he's strong. He's hard to get to. He's hard to finish on. Just relentless, always hanging on your head. It's a good learning experience for me going into that room and just kind of getting my head pulled for 2 hours straight, constantly pushing me around. And he was a good mentor to me too. He talked to me a lot. Obviously the dynamic changed more and more as like I got older and he got older. We were always talking about wrestling. We were constantly talking about athletes in 57 kilos because obviously I watch a lot of wrestling and so does he. So it's kind of cool, kind of like scouting the world and stuff, and like talking about that. So, but
do you still watch a lot of wrestling?
Well, it's funny because like I don't like go and watch like the live events. I just like past wrestling and stuff. So, and like I'm always like seeing results with things I follow and stuff. So, like accounts, like other countries' accounts and whatnot, just like seeing where athletes are being sent. I don't think I've ever like typed in YouTube like an opponent at my weight and watched them.
Oh, really?
Ever.
So it's not for like scouting purposes. It's more.
No, I don't scout. That's not an ego thing either. I just like I rather go to to me it's a mindset thing. Go to what I'm good, and they'll tell me what the guy's good at, and they'll I just trust them, have blind trust in my program, right? So if they think something I need to know, they'll tell me, with a scouting report. But like me, like I don't like I'll only watch it to like, hey, you need to watch this, then I'll go watch it. But like I'm not gonna like go look it up. Like I'm focused on myself and what I do. So
I saw the scene in Kinnick when they introduced you as an Olympic silver medalist, standing ovation. What is that like? That's an experience that very few people in the world will ever have. What was it like? Because it looked
well,
unbelievable.
obviously it's humbling. I love that the Hawkeye fan base still, believes in me and loves me and whatnot. Obviously, a little disappointing, having them give me like a stand ovation for silver. Just because like that's how my mind works. It's like you guys should be sitting down. See me in 4 years, that's the plan, right? But it was pretty awesome, and I appreciate that Iowa brings me back for things like that.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
I think you need to give yourself some more credit, Spencer. I really do.
Well, when you lose 2-2,
I
I
know.
cheer, and everyone's like, "Well, why'd you lose?" When they're not wrestling fans. Obviously, I went for like something at the end, but if I didn't, I would have lost anyways. They were asking how you lose. The rules are a little complicated compared to folks now. There's no overtime, right? For like
Yeah.
the fans who've never watched freestyle, they're like, I don't understand how you lost. The score was tied. And I'm like, well, bigger score, last point scored, you had the same, you know, points scored, 2-2, whatever. So they're like, oh, it's dumb. You should have won. It's like, well, not really, but could have. It's close, you
Yeah.
know.
I think that
The
was
grounded rule, like you push them out.
I think that was the most annoying part of the match is like it was very unfulfilling from answering the question of who's better, Ray Higuchi or Spencer Lee. I still don't know. I have no idea. I mean,
Yeah, it was one exchange.
yeah,
He wrestled a smarter match than me, so
yeah.
he's better.
Well, you're very humble in that way, Spencer. I'm less sure. I am not as certain as you are. But yeah, it was an amazing match, and really, I think it was other than the Geno Zare.
I said the heavyweight match is probably the best, right?
That was,
That match was funny.
that was the best and the worst and
Ridiculous.
most
You
ridiculous.
almost lost twice.
Oh my!
I'm second.
I know. Can you imagine dealing like I was actually
No, I
like,
couldn't because if I go take silver, do the same thing again by 28, I'm gonna be hurting man,
yeah,
hurting unit.
for sure, for sure. Well, Spencer, what I want to. I really am appreciative of your time and how much you've given to us. I want to get you out of here, but what have you been up to since the Olympics? Have you been training much at all, or you been kind of laying low? What's this last month and change been like for you?
I wouldn't. It's more like I wouldn't call him this train. It's more like I just go in the room and go, "Who wants me? Wrestle me," you know. And then Austin's like me, and then we wrestle a lot. So it's just more like whoever needs it, kind of just doing my own thing. I like being in the room. Um, I know I'm probably gonna get a little bit, so I'm probably gonna head out of the state, so maybe out of the country.
All right.
Gotta take some time to myself, and then come back, and we'll figure out what's the next move for me, when the next training phase, competition, and then obviously I'll be helping the college guys out as much as I can. Obviously the priority is to help them when I'm not training for something.
You're a training partner, but it seems like you're taking almost a little bit of a coaching mentorship role. Is coaching in college something you want to do down the line in your career at some point?
I don't know, man. Everyone thinks it's like a given for me, but I'm just gonna keep competing, and I'll see where I go from there.
How does your body feel? I mean, the topic of your health has been, I feel like, wrestling discussion for almost a decade now, but wasn't a discussion the last year. But other than hope that he stays healthy, how healthy are you out of the Olympics?
Honestly, I'm pretty good. I was joking that the Olympics is a pretty easy tournament for me. Like I feel like there's a whole lot of like wear and tear on my body from the matches that I wrestled. So I think cutting weight was harder on my body than the matches. So
One last question. I want to get my son some Spencer Lee shoes, but there's no Spencer Lee shoes. Is there ever going to be a Spencer Lee shoe?
if the color of my medal changes,
Okay.
then there will be.
Dang it. Well, we just need Ray Higuchi to test positive, and then we can expedite the process. And
I
then
would
you.
never want that.
I know. Gosh, you're so principled. It's incredible.
I'd be so mad.
That
You
would.
have no idea.
Yeah.
I would throw that thing in the trash.
Don't do that. Give it to your parents, Spencer. Don't throw it away.
Spencer, what did you do with your medal? Is it just like
It's currently in the new Gotchi Training Center. We have all of the Iowa Hawkeye Olympic medals on display until December.
that's
So
cool.
we have 5 golds, 2 silvers. We have 11 medals as a program.
Very good.
Higuchi has expressed interest in coming to Iowa to train and maybe just see the culture. Would you be open to training with him, even though knowing
I invited him, bro.
Oh, okay. That would be cool.
He's not going to come soon, though. He said he's busy with sponsorship opportunities and figuring out what he wants to do in Japan. But in the future, he might come.
Would you
He
ever?
was planning on it, but now he's not.
I know you've been to Japan before to train. Do you have any interest in going over there to train with him for an extended amount of time?
Those guys. I mean, when I went to Japan last year, the guy that Marcus Blaze wrestled, I wrestled a match with at his college, Yamanashi Gakuin University, and then the guy at 25, 57 kilos there at Yamanashi as well. He was Japan, like I think he was third or fourth on the ladder. So they got some good guys at that college. Obviously, I trained at Waseda, which is where Yui Sasaki trained. So there's a lot of good wrestling there in Japan. They had what 11 medals, gold medals between men and women or something in Greco. So they're obviously doing something that's working right now, which is pretty cool. They definitely train different than we do. Very unique. So it's definitely cool to see.
Could you elaborate on that? Just like what stands out?
Well, they don't have one partner the whole practice. They just switch partners every 3 minutes for like an hour and a half straight,
Wow.
and they kind of ramp up from like drilling to sparring to live, and they wrestle any weight class, male or female, and just switch.
Wow.
I remember I went into the room and like I heard like switch, and I saw like 10 people running at me. First person that gets to you is like, oh, the guy wrestles, and then you wrestle that person. I remember looking at the coach like this, and the guy was like a 74 kilo guy. I'm like, I gotta wrestle this guy. You know?
And did the bigger guys understand like how to wrestle?
Yeah, no, he didn't hurt me.
Yeah, in a
He was like wrestling. He was laughing. It was fun.
Wow.
It was something. There's something about that. You know, you can wrestle anyone as long as the other person isn't trying to kill you. You know,
That's
you
great.
can learn from that and get better. So, because they wrestle women, you know, the women train in the same place. You know, it was definitely unique. I mean, sometimes you switch, there'd be a woman, you go wrestle. You know, I wasn't there to train though. I was there on vacation. So.
You're known for your incredible strength and power. We recently got one of those grip strength thingies in the office to test our grip strength. And I am currently training to defeat this man over here, Andrew Spey, who's much larger than me. He's got me beat. But what's the secret to developing crazy strength like yourself? Give me the secret sauce.
I mean, all I really did growing up was climb rope. To be honest, just like rope climbs, pull-ups, push-ups. I was very body weight focused. I never lifted weights really. That's why I don't look so, jacked.
Is that still the case?
You can look pretty good,
like
body weight.
Calisthenics, rope climbs, stuff like that. Not as much traditional weightlifting.
I've done a little bit of traditional, but it's been more like, I guess, like functional movements with our trainer, Armor. Alex, he's great with that. And he knows that like I'm not a guy who's gonna go in there and bench press, see how much I can do. It's more like, okay, we're gonna explode, and it's like wrestling movements. So that's which has been cool. Yeah.
Are the stories true about the intensity and the dedication of Tom and Terry as coaches? And, you hear that they're just so easy to follow because they are so intense and just crazy obsessed with the wrestling. Do they actually live up to the persona?
No, absolutely. They want it probably more than you do even. They just I mean that as like a shot at myself or any of our athletes. But man, if you want it more than anyone in the world, they're like right behind you. You know, they really want you to win, and they really want the best for you. And I've gotten to know them obviously pretty well since my almost 7 years at Iowa. So, and they love it, and they love seeing their guys succeed, and they'll do anything to have that happen, right? And I love to see that dedication. You know, it's part of the reason why I went to Iowa. And I just fell in love with like their mindset and how obsessed they were with helping the guys be the best they can be.
Awesome. Well, Spencer, we've so appreciated having you on. Anything else you want to add or mention, plug before we let you go?
I'm good, man.
Well, awesome. Well, we appreciate having you on. Look forward to seeing what's next for you. And yeah, thanks again.
too.
Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you down the line. Let us know where you end up traveling. Have a good trip.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll see you guys.
All right, thanks, Spencer.
Thanks, Dave.
The great Spencer Lee. Awesome. Always great to catch up with Spencer. Now, JD's talking about, I think if Spencer had the full story, JD, you need to work your way up the ladder. See, you got your eyes set on the king, Andrew Spey. That's a long way to, you could feel dejected if you don't get it.
The grip strength.
Have you work your way up the ladder and then set
a more reasonable goal.
It's like, you can't.
Don't set it for unattainable.
It may not be attainable.
Yeah.
You need to ask yourself that.
You got to set high goals.
You can say, look,
When Spencer Lee was like 4 years old, Olympic gold medalist, look, it came true. People probably told him he was crazy then. You're telling me I'm crazy now?
I'm saying you're going to shoot for the stars, but land on the moon.
Yeah,
as far as you're going.
Exactly.
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah, this new grip thing is going to be a really fun little wrinkle.
Andrew Spey's grip strength is more than Mason Paris's was in that video.
It's insane because you're known for your haunch power.
Yeah.
Not your
Imagine
grip
if they could test haunch grip.
That is where all of the strength is derived. Wow.
Listen.
Oh my God.
Haunch grip.
Stop that.
Don't worry about it.
There's different grips.
Grow up.
We're talking about strength. But yeah, and there's the power comes from your core, and then it radiates from there, even out to the grip.
That's what it is. He just sends like a bomb of power, and he can just channel it to his hand.
Yeah, it starts with the stance, with basics, with your fundamentals.
What'd you
when
get,
you're in the right stance.
He got a 146, I think.
46.
Yeah, you guys to trick me. You put it on kilograms, and then you're like, give it a shot. Oh, 60, whatever it was. And then I'm like, well, it says kilograms. You're like, all right, you found it.
I know. There was a split second. He's like, I am so pathetically weak, and he's like, but.
It backfired because I saw the numbers were low because it like goes up, it starts running up, and I'm like, man, I really got to dig deep if I'm going to push these numbers up, and that's what got it to that high score.
Yeah,
he's almost putting up Aaron Brooks numbers.
Yeah,
Aaron Brooks did it very casually too. I feel like Aaron left some on the table there. He wasn't really trying to get like set records. If he did, it would be pretty scary.
Brooks had the highest on the team. He says he really doesn't lift weights. Spencer, not a big weightlifting guy. You lift weights.
Sometimes.
That could be part of your problem.
Yeah, but
Become a body weight boy.
it's all biceps. Alec Pantaleon lifts weights, and I'm just trying to be like him.
Well, you're on your way. All right, we got a lot to
I'm
get
all for
to.
show now.
Huh?
I don't need functional strength anymore.
Yeah.
He's a
I'm
show
all
pony.
for show.
Show pony.
Yeah, curls for the girls. That's
right.
That's it. That's all you're doing now.
Love it. All right. Should we talk about the beef? The back and
It's
forth?
what's for dinner. I think we got to
It's
talk
what's for
about
dinner.
it.
It's also what's for FRL.
What are you talking about?
Shut up. AJ Ferrari and Carter Starocci? What are we talking about?
I wasn't sure if you were talking about you and Trey's beef.
No.
Oh, we're skipping ahead.
There's no beef there. It's just pain. Pain everywhere. No. AJ, Carter, the back and forth. I don't know if you want to tee it up, JD, how we want to go about it, but I feel like that's a good next place to go. We should have asked Spencer if there's anyone he wanted to call out.
Yeah, do a
That
promo.
seems really like what Spencer likes to do.
Yeah, he's right on top
Yeah.
of that. But no, the craziest back and forth I think we have ever seen in the sport of wrestling came from AJ Ferrari and Carter Starocci over the course of the past week. Just give us a little timeline of how this all went down.
So it started on this show, I'll say it, when Chael Sonnen said, hey, let's call him. Mischievous Chael. He calls Carter. He's at practice. He calls AJ. AJ answers and gives the most respectful statement you would have ever guessed. He's talking about he'd be an honor to wrestle him. He's one of the greatest ever. He believes
really
he could
did escalate
win,
quickly.
et cetera, et
Now that
cetera.
I think about it.
What?
This escalated quickly. Now that I think about a number of back and forths,
Yeah,
how
so
crazy it got.
right. So that happens, and then time passes. AJ commits to Cal State Bakersfield, and then you've got AJ after. It is kind of funny because I feel like they're both doing call-outs based on things they know can't happen. So once AJ, it came out that Carter was going 184, right? We reported this. And so AJ says, yeah, go 184. So it's a little out of order there. And then Carter challenges him at a match 190, which I don't think anyone thinks is realistic. And then AJ responds, and he actually did really good in his response if he had just stopped typing. And he kept typing and typing. I don't know if you can. Maybe we should go back to Carter's first. The audacity of Carter Starocci.
I was wondering if you were trying to skip over that intentionally.
Read his post?
I don't want to read it. I kind of did read it. I don't have it in front of me, but
I don't think we can post
I'll give you
it
the
on YouTube.
highlights. The highlights. So it starts with a very nice little slideshow of Parisian images of Carter looking like a cool guy. And then you get to the picture, the splits, the double birds, an object, and a certificate. A certificate.
It was an object.
It was definitely an object. And it's a certificate that says some things about AJ. And then he also makes fun of AJ saying like, I don't even remember the good ones. He said that
He said he was good at splits.
He's good at splits. He said
Let it not be said he
That was
was
the nicest
not
thing.
somewhat complimentary.
that was
to
good. He is
Mr.
good.
Ferrari.
But then he said, basically, he called him a lot of names, went back and forth, and then Carter laid out a challenge like, hey, $300,000. Well, he called him broke, and then he bet him $300,000. So I don't know if you're broke. Broke people don't really have
them some other
$300,000.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know about broke people, they typically don't have $300,000 they can just wager. And if they're wagering $300K, this is probably why they became broke. Anyway, here nor there.
Or filthy rich.
It definitely.
There's a tattoo involved as well, and
Oh,
you
he's
had
got
a wager where you had to get it.
Yeah. So he's just taking a page out of the Jaden Cox book. So he got to get a tattoo. He's got to change his Instagram bio. He basically makes a lot of attacks on AJ that definitely were, I mean, over the line, for sure, over the line. Like beyond normal trash talk, for sure. And I think Carter would probably admit, like, yeah, he's looking for the line and step over a little bit.
The post is still up, but that final picture with the device.
Yeah.
With the object.
Object.
Device.
It's not really a device. There's no moving parts. But yeah, the object, that and the certificate, it's gone.
Certificate's gone. And so then you've got the so then we're like, it's basically becomes AJ watch. For 24 hours, we're like, what's AJ going to do? I theorized he was in the lab making a diss track like Kendrick Lamar. And I still hope that can happen. Right? 'Cause I think that's the only way to really take this beef to another level is you get someone needs to drop some bars.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
I don't know that one.
Like that. Okay.
No, stop. So then AJ, I'll pull up Mr. Fast Twitches because I honestly thought he scored some points here, and then he unscored them all. So it starts. Has everyone seen this little punk kid named Carter's post and caption? It has me dead. Laughing emoji. What a classist clown emoji. As seen recently in my respectful and simple call out, I agree. I warned Carter not to come up to 197 in NCAA wrestling this season, and as expected, Carter had a mental breakdown and went to IG showing how much of a clown emoji he is. To top that, he finally admitted he's afraid emoji to come up to 197 pounds emojis. Not only for his final wrestling season, but even for a simple super match. This is all very good. This is sort of like, he's kind of got Carter in a little bit of a corner here because this is all sort of true. He wants the youngest true freshman national champion at 197 pounds to go down to 190 pounds.
It's also not true. Jaden Cox was the youngest true freshman 197 national champ.
Okay. Take that. So see, points. See, he should have stopped. Carter, I haven't touched 190 since high school, laughing emoji. But at least you finally admit it. You can't handle this Italian flag emoji, horsepower, horse emoji at 197 pounds in wrestling. But I will say this. Put some respect on my name, exclamation point emojis. If not, I'll make you put some respect on my name. I'll fight you in MMA down at 190 pounds.
Yeah,
We're at 190 now. You laughed at 190. I can't be I've been 190 since high school. I'll fight you at 190. Well, I don't understand. You were doing great, AJ.
It makes it even worse with the next sentence, too, with the any day of the week, anytime, anywhere.
But
But
so you can make it any day? You can make 190 any day.
so make it for the wrestling match.
Make it for the wrestling
The
match.
assumption is that MMA, it's the day before weigh-ins. You get 24 hours of recovery.
Okay, maybe so.
I believe that is the assumption.
I feel
guess
like that's
that's
not easy to see. That's easy to see.
No, it's not easy to see.
Well,
Okay, they're not going to fight in an MMA fight before, during, or after the season. And
All I'm
day before
saying-
weigh-in.
I would
It's
like
not-
to see the wrestling match and then the fight after the season.
yes.
Yeah, I think all this to say, all the posts and all the back and forth make me feel 100% this match is not going to happen. And I feel like all the talk is with that in mind. I can't make 190.
Too good.
I can't make 190. Well, I could for a fight. Well, I'll see you at 190. Well, he is a little big for that. It is just a super. I don't think it's going to happen, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate because it would be amazing match. It feels like. But one thing I was thinking about this morning, if Carter were to go up to 197 just for this match alone, and I'm pretty sure, regardless of this being an exhibition match, it's still like a weigh-in that gets logged. And if it gets logged, then it jacks up your descent plan. And so if he weighs in 13 pounds over, it's very literally like months or weeks and weeks before he could wrestle 184 again. And so is Penn State going to want to do that? Is Carter going to want to be kind of out of the mix? That doesn't make sense. So I don't know, but it all makes me, feel like this match is not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't. Seems like it's not gonna happen, just based off of mostly the 190-pound comment.
I think the weight demands are going to derail it, and I think the probably financial asks are going to derail it, and then you're not going to have the match. That's my thought.
Good to be true.
Yeah.
Here's the real question: who's winning the beef?
What's beef? So I don't know. It's kind of what's Carter going to do? So AJ's thrown, he's had 2 punches thrown, right? Carter threw one big one.
That's the thing. I feel like Carter threw the harder punch, like you said, tried to toe the line. But I also still feel like public perception is still favors Carter because
maybe
he doesn't have the track record that AJ does.
True, but now now you're kind of stacking up a lot of Carter Starocci trash talk. You had the Burrows back and forth, and then he didn't wrestle Burrows. Remember this? Mm-hmm. End your career, and then he didn't.
So he was gonna spit in his face.
Yeah, don't say that, Carter. Carter, I like you a lot, man. Don't say you're gonna spit in Jordan. That's Jordan Burrows. Don't spit. He shouldn't spit in anyone's face, but really, not Jordan. Come on.
AJ just needs to lean into the quote from Starocci from our interview where he said 197, 285, it don't matter.
Yeah,
Anyone can get
And
it.
he did.
It was in this
and he
video.
put that in there. So in the video that AJ put away, this is a video of something. But the beginning where it's like the clips cut together is good because it has Carter saying 197 heavyweight. It doesn't matter. But, Carter is not always to be taken as word. Not that he's dishonest. I'm simply saying like he just puts stuff out there sometimes. So yeah, he says, I don't know if we can play. We can play it if you want.
We don't have audio on NDI, but you can see the captions.
Okay. Yeah, you can read
where he goes.
You're watching. Of course, he pulls up the
So you
trail.
gotta scroll through.
You make a nice little cameo.
Yeah, I'm in there. I didn't know AJ was an FRL watcher. I'm honored, AJ. Yeah, but it would be the match.
Here he goes.
Kale mentioned going 97.
And I say, are you considering going 97 next year?
I'm not sure. I'll go heavyweight. I mean, it really don't matter. So yeah, AJ put his back against the wall. So I don't know. I'm curious if Carter will even respond at this point. Now that I don't think the match is happening, but man, it's certainly a spirited back and forth.
It would make Carter a legend if he did.
If he wrestled him,
Yeah.
absolutely.
97, yeah.
He really
That's like
doesn't have-
Dake going up and wrestling Taylor type stuff.
Here's the thing.
Would he still be legend if he did it and lost?
It's kind of legendary to put it on the line. I
Yeah,
think people
I
respect.
agree.
I think people respect it when you put it on the line. Everyone knows he's a 74 pounder, probably internationally if he wanted to be. If 79 kilos was an Olympic weight, that's where Carter would be, right? So 184 is probably a good weight for him collegiately for how great he is. But yeah, if you bump up to 197 and make it competitive, he's not going to lose bad.
No.
It's going to be an absolutely close one takedown match, probably, if we're being honest. So, I mean, you say nothing to lose, but he could lose the match. Thing is, here's the main reason it's not going to happen. AJ Ferrari, they're not going to let him do this match. You do not send AJ Ferrari, if it's a Penn State, as Carter says, you send AJ Ferrari to a wrestling match in Rec Hall or wherever it is.
You're going to deny this man the opportunity to win $300,000?
There's no $300,000. All these numbers. None of these numbers are real.
Isn't that what Gordon Ryan does? He like has a mediator like, how does that work?
Puts money in like escrow.
Yeah.
And, like they put it up and then that person. Yeah, but we're not doing that. That's not happening.
I'm just saying we could connect him to that.
It sounds like we could.
He wants to figure out how to figure it out.
Tyler, it's
Take it through the house.
Tyler, it's not going to not happen because they don't know how to get money in escrow.
No, I think that's the only thing keeping this from happening.
They're not good at. They don't have $300,000. They may have $300,000, but they're not putting it up. That's for sure. It's fiction.
Escrow.
TP and escrow. shout out to that's their one of them became a CPA and that was their like spin-off rap group name.
As a former property manager, Spain knows all about escrow.
Yes.
Deal with escrow.
He's a current property manager. What are we talking about?
True.
What, you just think there's too much downside for AJ to do this in Penn State?
Yeah. It's like Soldier Salute on steroids. This isn't Zach Glazier who committed the audacious crime of wrestling AJ Ferrari in a match. This is a man who has called AJ everything but a child of God, but tried to shame him, embarrass him, called him basically a criminal. And you're going to have this tinderbox in Rec Hall or wherever at Penn State where they're going to be going crazy. And Carter's not going to stop talking. Hey, what did Zach Glazier ever say and do anything? And he tried to fight him. And so the idea that AJ could possibly handle this, it's a risk.
You're going to come after you now saying he can't handle it.
Prove you can handle it, AJ. You went to the Soldier
The
Salute.
only way he can prove it is by going.
Okay.
But there's not enough escrow in the world, truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about this. Think about this. The challenges before AJ
Christina's
Ferrari.
coming out.
Guys,
Oh no.
the idea of him going to the NCAA tournament where he has burned bridges at Oklahoma State. He has burned bridges at Iowa. He is now torched anyway back in and out of Happy Valley. All the major fan bases are now going to be so strongly AJ. This is the only thing that's going to bring Penn State and Iowa fans together. He's going to be booed like crazy there. Imagine that atmosphere.
Verbal meme. One jacked arm, Iowa, other jacked arm, Penn State coming together.
Booing AJ Ferrari. And we saw what happened when he got booed last time. It did not. Would we agree that didn't go well, AJ? I don't think anyone's going to argue that didn't go well. It ended. You had Dan Dennis and Alex Marinelli in your corner. You were going to be an Iowa Hawkeye. That was their plan for you. Okay? And the meltdown of meltdowns occurs, and now you're not in Iowa, and your brother is. So that is just simply what happened. So I think it would be, honestly, as much as I want to see the match, as someone who actually and genuinely in their heart wants to see AJ Ferrari get it together and have a productive wrestling career, I don't think the All-Star makes sense for him. That's not, you want to put your athletes in a position to succeed. What about this seems like a position for him to succeed other than, not life-changing amounts of money that you get for wrestling in the match? Answer that question. So no, this match,
Bragging rights.
if there's any adults in the room, they're not going to let AJ do
You
this.
don't think $300,000 is life changing?
They're not getting $300,000. Fake money. It's like,
Mr.
I
Moneybags.
saw this funny thing. No, it's a lot of money. That's how I know it's not happening. Saw this thing. This Bitcoin guy says, Bitcoin's going to $13 million for the price of one Bitcoin. They're just saying numbers.
Yeah, but once it hits
thing.
13 million, you're going to
Michael
feel
Saylor.
so dumb for not getting into it now.
I
Why
wanted
did drag Bitcoin into this?
because that annoyed me. Because Bitcoin, all these Bitcoin people.
If Ben was here, he'd be checking you so hard.
I'd be making fun of him. This guy said $13 million. This guy has no idea. He's just saying numbers. That's just like them and the 300,000. Audacious. So yeah, I don't think it's happening.
Bitcoin catching strays.
They can catch them.
How much money would you have paid to see Cale Sanderson's reaction the first time he saw this?
I don't want to see that.
Yes, you do.
I'd be
That's a
uncomfortable.
lie.
I do not want to watch Cale have to. Yeah, it stress me out. Because I just think about what oh man, if I'm in this scenario, I have, okay, it's like maybe the greatest wrestler in the program's history. This is someone who's going to be the face of wrestling for an entire year, the face of my program, saying this. I don't want to see people in that kind of, I don't like that.
I want to be in the room where they were making the Photoshop of that last deleted photo, and just the choices that they made to, how that got discussed. Mm-hmm. They added a shadow to one of the.
They're like,
objects.
what color should it be?
Yeah, that exactly.
A tasteful pink.
Are they using AI to generate it? Are they searching for Google Images to put in there?
We need a
PNG. Fascinating.
You notice they included the shadow.
That's what I'm saying. Wait, hold on. It's not done yet.
It had to have been AI then.
What do you think?
I don't think that they're including the shadow if they're pulling a PNG.
You don't know that. They're
fill on
their craft.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
The brainstorming session for the certificate.
It's a crazy, crazy freaking situation.
It is kind of funny. My initial reaction to this is awesome. This is great. This is what, wrestling needs. Like, this is just pure entertainment.
Bring some hype.
For me, yeah, it's hype. I don't care. And then after a little bit, I thought about it from, the perspective of, this guy is probably a lot of, 10-year-olds' favorite wrestler.
Yeah. If you're a parent and you're like, what sport should my kid play? And then this is what wrestling is known for. Maybe they bring them to a basketball practice instead.
Yeah. So maybe not the best, but personally,
as an adult man
with no children, I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's just pure entertainment for me.
Yeah. It definitely, the whole thing toes a line, and it makes me a little uncomfortable.
I don't know if there are some lines crossed when you accuse a man of crimes.
That's true. That's true. And
Yeah, and that's on the now deleted image
Yeah.
too. The crime accusations. So
which makes sense. It was probably wise. Although once it's out there, I don't know if that doesn't exonerate you, but
that was the most screenshotted post in wrestling history. As soon as that was out, it was screenshot by millions of people.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a wrestling rivalry with this amount of animosity?
A rivalry between two guys who never have and probably never will actually wrestle each
correct.
other.
This level of trash talk.
I would have said Carter and Jordan had it for a little bit. That was a very intense and sort of uncomfortable back and forth. And then you had Gable and AJ when he called him AJ Ford Focus. And they had their back and forth, and you had thigh pride.
That seems like pennies now.
I know.
That's nothing now.
At the time, it was like, oh man, these two. But now the stake, I don't even know if I want to say stakes have been raised. Just the vitriol and the anger has been raised. So yeah, no, I have no recollection of it. And it's a fair question, the overall perception of the sport.
You think back in the 60s, guys were just writing letters and sending them in the mail to each other, like, you stink, I'm going to beat you, and then
let's go
wait in the mail for someone to...
Yeah.
Any chance these two DMing on the side, let's hype this up?
No.
Or is this 100%?
That's a work?
No, because it's not actually going to happen.
Well, yeah, that and there's no scenario where AJ's like, yeah, that'd be funny.
That's true.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
No, pink, that's perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
Or if they start, and then Carter's like, okay, and then just goes way over the top rope.
He's like, hey, yo.
He's like, wow, what we talked about. Yeah, not a work.
The sad thing is if you're gonna hype up beef like this, you should be able to cash out on it. But they're both hyping up a beef that they're not gonna be able to cash out on.
I think that's the point.
What do you mean that's the point?
Just create energy and entertainment with you don't have to put anything on the line.
There's no risk.
There's no risk. That's what makes it. It's to me, it's hollow. There's nothing. There's nothing behind this. That's my read. They could wrestle in November. My read is this is hollow trash talk on both sides. Because when did it start? When AJ found out he was going 184. When AJ found out he was going 184, stay down at 184. Oh, do the All-Star against me, AJ. Where? At 190. Okay. No, he's not going to do that. We all know he's not going down to 190. And then AJ. So I think it's all behind. It's just not going to happen. And I think that's what emboldens the talk. That's why you don't see a lot when you know what's going to happen. Carter's not talking about Parker Keckeisen right
I
now.
like this. Make them feel bad about not doing it. Put it.
Parker's not talking about Carter.
You guys
Guilt them
won't
into
do
this.
it.
No, that's not. I'm not daring them. I'm saying this is. I believe that's what's fueling it.
I am daring them.
And Parker Keckeisen is just sitting back as the returning champ at 184, and they're not. No one's talking about him.
What if we?
No one's challenging Parker Keckeisen
I wonder.
because that could get real.
I wonder if this match happens at 190 day before weigh-in, because that's kind of what the MMA situation was.
And then you got AJ's going to weigh 210.
Yeah, but then it's like
It
you
doesn't
got to
mess
weigh
up
in
the
at 190. It doesn't really mess up certification.
Yeah.
Question for you: 197 November, 2-hour weigh-in. Who you got?
If Carter's going 97 all year too,
No.
I really
He weighs in at
84?
197.
but he's what did he do all year?
184, like he's planning on this year.
So he skips the first couple months of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. It's tough. I think that's a big jump, but I keep going back to what makes me really think Carter has a great shot in this match is how he looked against Trent Hidley at the Olympic trials. He was not as big as Trent, but my expectation for how that match was going to look, I was sat right there at the mat because I just wanted to see it. And he wasn't dwarfed by Trent in a way I thought he was going to be.
No.
And he was able to physically, I mean, this was a very physical guy. And you go back and watch that match, super competitive.
On a bum wheel, too.
Huh?
On a bum wheel, too.
Bum wheel, Carter. Right? So it makes me feel, I mean, I've seen Carter win NCAAs 4 times. They won their first NCAA title the same night. Right? So for me, and knowing AJ's style and Carter's style, it's going to be a 1 takedown match, right? Matt probably not going to be a factor. I don't think Carter holds him down. Maybe he does. AJ's not going to be able to do the drop down single leg ride. That got basically mitigated after that year. So I think it's a 1 takedown match, and I'd probably favor Carter based on all the factors of how much he's been able to compete, how much he's been able to train, and the fact that it's not going to be, for as quick and athletic and twitchy as AJ is, I feel a lot of his stuff is single leg, backdoor. I feel like Carter's going to have answers for a lot of that. So I would say long-winded Carter, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I agree. I think, Carter's just, not to say AJ isn't, but there's something about Carter Starocci where he's just a winner.
Yeah, we saw what Carter did, getting injured at the end of the year and then still winning nationals. And then we haven't seen AJ much. And the one match he did have, he technically won, but didn't get his hand raised against Zach Glazier. No offense to Zach Glazier, but that would imply that AJ perhaps is not at the level he was at before.
I actually think Parker Keckeisen is a worse matchup for Carter Starocci than
I agree.
AJ Ferrari.
I agree with that. Without a doubt. To me, that's the match, right?
Yeah, let's make a match that could actually happen.
Yeah. That would be great.
That should get the
Make
hype.
them both happen.
Yeah, round robin. Parker
Sign me up.
versus AJ.
Yeah.
What if Parker? It would be so funny if Parker started catching like crazy strays, like the nicest dude ever.
Just training in a
What would you even say? Dude wears glasses.
Bald.
Well,
This is a no hair shaming bald podcast. but
that's true. You
something
can say that.
You can say it, bald on bald.
That's right.
Bald on bald. I
Bald on
wouldn't
bald
do that.
crime. All right. I think we exhausted the AJ.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Carter Starocci.
I'm not. Let's
back
do
and
another
forth.
hour.
Honestly,
But I mean, we gotta get going because it's World Team Trials week,
know.
and we barely even talked about it.
Will AJ enter? No, I'm just kidding.
We got pre-seeds since the last show.
messy.
So quickly, let's start at 61, and we'll work our way up to 92. 61, Vito Rujao is sitting out to the best of 3 finals. And then you've got Nashawn Garrett, the number 1 seed. I think a lot of people will be surprised about that, but he did earn it. Dayton Fix 2, Austin DeSantos 3, Gross 4, Blaze 5, Forrest 6, Nasir Bailey 7, Liam Cronin 8. Who do
Yeah.
you guys have coming out of the challenge tournament to face Vito in the best of 3 final?
Gonna be interesting. I really want to see that Gross versus Blaze match. What a style contrast. It feels like Gross first time for Marcus. Like he's gonna get on top at some point, and then I think it's gonna go, Gross's way. I feel. So then we've got Nashawn versus Gross, which they always have crazy matches, but it's been Nashawn. I think more recently. And then it feels pretty clear that Dayton's going to make it to the Challenge Tournament final. I feel pretty certain about that just because the matchup with DeSanto is just, unless we see major changes, it's been Dayton every single time. Now, Dayton will have to beat Nasir Bailey, which I want to see that, but man, there's just levels, right? And I don't think Nasir's there yet as a freestyler. So, and Jax Forrest versus Austin DeSanto is a crazy quarterfinal match. I mean, the quarters here.
I think Blaze is going to get gross.
What's that?
I think Blaze is going to get gross.
You do?
I do.
So I'm not mad at that just because what is Seth doing?
That's my thing. His training situation, I don't know. It's exactly the unfortunate thing for Blaze is just how tricky Seth Gross can be, and it'll be the first time he's wrestling him, to my knowledge. I think I'm correct in saying that. So I would maybe even have a little more confidence if they'd wrestled and Gross had beat him, but Marcus looked good. But
actually, I'm back out on even entertaining that take. I don't think there's any way that man is going to have been in Pontevedra, Spain last weekend, get back here, acclimate, recover, make weight, do it all again. I just think that's a huge, huge ask. And then now you got to beat Seth Gross.
I think that
Marcus pulled through for me.
the thing for me with that matchup is that I feel like Seth Gross does so well against like really active wrestlers. And I feel like Blaze is a more tempered wrestler. He has very strong baseline defense, like insanely strong baseline defense. And like the way that like Ono scored on Blaze at Junior Worlds is like very fast, like explosive misdirection, like that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And those aren't the kind of attacks you see from Seth Gross. Like Seth Gross scores a lot off of his opponent's hand fight, his opponent's shots. And so that's why I could see Blaze taking a win from Seth. That being said, I absolutely expect Gross to beat him because, like, dude, he is so tricky, especially the first time you wrestle him.
Seth is so underrated as a leg attacker. Everyone thinks of him like, I'm not saying that's what you were saying, but like as this counter guy, he generates a lot from his single leg. He generates a ton from his 2-on-1.
True.
His 2-on-1, like all these guys have wrestled out 2-on-1s their entire life, but there's something that Seth does that he's able to throw that near leg in and create all kinds of problems.
I think he's too much of a veteran.
Yeah. And also, what you need if you want to beat Seth Gross your first time, you got to get off the mat, right? Blaze, I don't think has the ability to tech him, right? You got to kill him, and you can't. Seth is hard to kill. And
you were talking about top and bottom at first.
No, I just mean you need to be able to. Well, I guess I am top and bottom. I'm turning him, is what I mean, and I don't think he has that at this point in his career. He's super good on his feet. But I don't think he's going to be able to parterre turn Seth Gross. These are my thoughts. Crazy weight. I think if Dave might make the run, make it to Vito.
What do you think a DeSanto Forrest matchup looks like?
I think
they trained with each other.
He'll get him. I think Jax will get one of those pass bys. Catch him one time off an aggressive thing. But I think physically, Austin's going to be too much for him. He's going to be able to get to his positions and generate enough points from neutral.
That is what I was thinking a lot too, is because Austin is such a forward wrestler, and that's one of Jax's best. Score, like one of the best ways Jax scores is off of his opponent's pressure.
You think about that, and you think Dayton fixes over tie slide by, and despite all that, Dayton beats Austin every time, but he hasn't been. That's not been a signature.
That's not how he did it.
So I don't know.
True.
I think it's gonna be tough for Jax. I think it's gonna be a crazy match because he's not gonna go out like a coward, right? He's gonna freaking go after DeSanto. It's gonna be crazy because you can't try to. I don't think you can try to beat Austin pragmatically. I think you got to go after him. And honestly, some of the stuff Spencer was talking about is maybe Jax's opportunity. Like Austin gets in on a single leg and is kind of hanging out and backdoor, and Jax is gonna try some stuff that maybe Austin isn't expecting, but. At the end of it, I do expect it to be an Austin versus Dayton semi and Nishan versus Gross. It feels like it's going to go chalk there, but
Jax is used to physical wrestlers though too. Like he beat Tomasello to qualify for those trials.
I know. I think there's
I'm curious to see what Fix is going to look like after a little time with Gilman, a little get to recharge after NCAAs, and maybe add something to his arsenal. Who knows? But
Cowboy Wrestling Club put out a cool video of Thomas Gilman talking about his training and how he's helping Dayton prepare. And he's like, yeah, I'm basically just telling him the stuff that I looked to exploit when I was competing against him. Like, we had a cool rivalry dating back to 2018. And I was just thinking, like, how beneficial that would be to, like, one of your main rivals who's received, like, very good coaching against you, now is helping you and explaining all the things that he used to try to do against you. Sealing that stuff up has got to be a huge advantage.
100%. It's also kind of fun. I was thinking about that. I was like, it's a good lesson for kids. Don't burn any bridges. You never know when this guy is going to be someone you're coaching and working with.
Yeah.
Who would have thought Thomas Gilman would be coaching Dayton Fix?
Maybe one day AJ Ferrari will be coaching Carter Starocci.
Oh my God.
But that's what I mean. It's like we went from Spencer.
That's Italian mentorship.
I invited Ray Higuchi right after the Olympics, where he's so down. I mean, he's talking about a silver medal like it's the worst thing that could have happened. That was rough. But then it's like, well, what about Higuchi? You're afraid to bring it up, or you want to be delicate with the topic. He's like, no, I invited him. I wanted to go train with him. And you go from that to the Carter AJ, and it couldn't be more polar opposites of attitudes towards your opponents or whatever.
Even Spencer and Austin, like, that's a crazy. I mean, we did a whole film about it, but man,
yeah, good point.
Not many. I mean, you talk to some of these people, and the person that beat them in high school or college, they're still like, there's crazy tension, there's hate, like they're just, these walls are put up, and I don't know.
Ollie still hates the guy that beat him at districts.
That guy's got it coming. All right, so 61. Here's a question: who has the best shot at beating Vito, who's sitting out to the finals?
Is it Nashon?
Yes.
Yeah. When he's on, his defense, love Nashon, but he often gives up a lot of points in his matches. That's just facts. But he's a guy that can get attacks on anybody, and he goes for 4. He goes big. Like, he never hesitates on pulling the trigger for back arching and suplex.
The last time we had a 2 out of 3 with Dayton that he lost was against Seth Gross at Final X. I still, I think it is Dayton, actually. I feel like and the reason I say this, I thought we saw Nashon's best shot at that Final X in 2023. Like, it felt like, man, he wrestled really, really good. Like, and
you don't think he can replicate?
I don't know. It's just Nashon's story has been, in my opinion, he's been the heights he's reached are insane, but his ability to replicate it event after event after event, I think, has been, not a hallmark, but an issue. Like, can he do it again? I don't know. You may be right. I feel like just a change up with Dayton could be it.
If Dayton shows up a different man.
Yeah. But that's it. Maybe we're expecting too much and just.
Here's the real answer. The only man that can beat Vito is Vito himself.
I want that to be JD's running bit for anytime we say, who's the best matchup for to take out Spencer Lee? Actually, you have done this.
Dude, that is the best.
He literally did that. It's like
Spencer
easy.
Lee's health.
Spencer Lee's biggest competition, Spencer Lee. Who could beat Carter this year? Carter Starocci.
To me, it feels like Dayton hasn't been able to score the last few times he wrestled Vito.
Well, my thing was just also kind of like Nashon.
Yeah, you're right.
We've seen variance in performance with Vito. I think we would agree
Very
he
fair.
was wrestling Nashon at that Final X, that wasn't the best version of Vito. And the 2023 World Championship round version was. Yeah. And if we see that Vito, nobody can beat him.
As we said in the film, there's 2 Vitos.
That's right.
I don't think
And he's even shown that Vito after that run. Or like he's shown that, variance in performance after that run.
Well, it's interesting. We're not going to see a guy enter who did a little eyeball emoji tease that he might enter, who's got a winning record against Vito, and that's Ryan Crookham.
Yeah. Why would he do that?
Why would he tease us?
All excited.
Lehigh guys usually have better character than that. They don't mess with you.
Wow.
Well, at least
You're making a comment on his character.
Jeez.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
You won't find a bigger supporter of Ryan Crookham. Well, you will. It's my dad. But after that.
All right. 61.
Wait, hold on. I did want to say, I don't think that Final X version of Vito was a down version of Vito. I think that was
I don't either.
I just don't think it was as good as the World Championship.
I don't think it's a big departure. I
don't either.
Really good.
You think the person who wrestled Nashon Garrett that close is the same guy who teched Abascati?
Yeah. Well, he didn't.
Wait,
tech him,
what?
but
He beat him like 9-8.
He barely beat him.
It was like
You're
a
right.
1-point match, and but he could have teched him. But I'd say, yeah, I mean, no one had, even Abiskazi, the great Abiskazi, I don't think he has the point scoring ability of Nashawn Garrett.
Yeah.
That's the best offensive wrestler that Vito faced. I mean, the things Nashawn can do, not just neutral, but parterre.
I guess I'm not giving Nashawn enough credit.
It's okay.
And this
He's
been
sort of hard to.
He's been dancing at music festivals.
It's so funny.
That helps.
He gets so forgotten because the one team he's ever made, he didn't even get to wrestle because he got injured.
No. That's dumb.
And so like,
And then
slept on.
second string guy medaled.
Correct.
Yep.
Joe Cologne.
Shout out to Tyler for knowing that.
I that surprises me.
Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm serious.
That was that 2018 or 17?
18.
Bro.
Yeah.
You don't know much.
I know all of our medalists from 2017 on.
Name them. Go.
Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
That's not that easy.
No, I don't think I
You're
will.
okay.
Dude, that is
Or
so
Natty
many.
Daddy.
I'm not going to sit here and name names for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Because you can't.
that's bad. Rating.
You're worse than Carter and AJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous.
Want to go to 70? Because this
Is anybody saying Vito? It's not Vito. When it's all said and done.
we have no idea.
I
I am.
I mean, I have an idea.
My mind
It's
is
either
way
one
open to the
person or Vito.
possibility of Vito losing. I'm not gonna be like
I'm very open to it as well.
jaw on the
I
floor.
don't think my mind's open to it.
We've got it. Open it.
I can't predict it because he is definitely like the Vegas odds-on favorite. But I can absolutely see it because, like I said,
That's a very salty bunch up top there. That whoever emerges, Nashawn, Dayton, Austin, Seth, they've all shown some.
This is a good weekend to have the bite of the finals.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I got to go Vito. Though
probably.
I think if I have to, gun to my head.
Yeah.
He's the
I
safest.
still think he's the best in the world at 61 kilos.
Yeah.
You also get the benefit of everybody else has to go through the challenge.
Yeah. You have no idea who's gonna emerge.
Hicks or Garrett, they could get sniped in the finals challenge
Yeah.
tournament.
No one. Oh, go ahead.
Well, the only thing I was gonna say is, if some Vito has few vulnerabilities. One of them is parterre. He can get turned. Like if he had an opportunity, if Dayton got an opportunity on top, maybe, but he's not been able to get on top. Or even in their folk style meeting, it was very one dimensional for Vito. So
You guys are also sleeping on Liam Cronin, Orange County product, California.
Oh, in L.A. from where you're from?
Product
Los
of Nebraska,
Angeles,
a product
just
of
like you.
Nebraska
Yeah, and a product of Nebraska.
in his now home state.
You got two. I don't know what else.
Connections?
with
Is that what you're
Connections.
looking-
You got two connections.
all right,
Hey, a weight that doesn't have anybody sitting out is 70 kilograms.
or any Californians. Just kidding.
You've got Alec Pantaleo at the 1 seed, James Green the 2, Jordan Oliver 3, PJ Duke the 4,
Break.
Jake Hughes, Henderson, Andonian, Panero Johnson, Yaya Thomas. I could go on and on. They seeded this one all the way down to like 21.
Yeah, Dane Morton 20.
Dane
How many
Morton
All-Americans?
did get the
It's
20 pre-seed.
17 or 18 All-Americans.
There could be some crazy early matches.
Maybe.
PJ Duke versus Ian Parker. You got Caleb Larkin versus Jarrett Jake Hughes. Jake Hughes should be seated ahead of PJ Duke. It's just ridiculous.
Good trials. Olympic trials. He had a good Olympic
Yeah,
trials.
great Olympic trials. We're talking about
He did so well.
yeah. Were you with me?
Yeah, he ran up to you and was like kind of mad at you that you didn't pick him.
Yeah, I don't know what I was supposed to do, Jarrett. I mean, I was not aware of your game. He's much more dynamic in freestyle than
Feels like he did good enough at Olympic trials to be seated ahead of PJ Duke.
who has wrestled how much senior level? Like very, very limited.
It's a good time to learn how to pronounce his name, too. I mean, everyone here did it right, but a lot of people, when they see that, they're like, Jake Hughes. There you go.
Jake Hughes. So a lot of really exciting quarters. I mean, even the pre-quarter matches are going to be really good. I'm trying to think of some of the ones I had.
Luan Bryce Andonian is a round of 16 match.
That's right.
And then Panero Yaya. Mm-hmm. Round of 16. That's crazy.
Panero time, baby.
Man, Pinero and Bryce are probably the two I'm like most excited to watch that aren't like the mainstays like Alec, Jo, and James. Like seeing how Bryce and Pinero can do at this weight. Very excited. And of course, Caleb Larkin.
Caleb Larkin.
Future 4-time NCAA champion, according to Caleb Piles. So yeah, I really think there can be a lot of
Did you
chaos.
say Cardenas Oliver
Yeah.
in round of 16?
Mm-hmm. Cardenas Oliver is a crazy early one. Ryan Jack's got someone good pretty early too, as I recall, like Arrington maybe. So one thing I wanted to say, like for the top 3 seeds, I feel like there's questions around all of them. Like there's a reason not to be like, oh, they're gonna for sure do it. Alec maybe is the best guy, but he's upset prone. We've seen it happen. He can lose to guys he's better than. James Green, long layoff. We haven't seen him at 70 in some years. Jordan Oliver, literally a fighter. The 4 seeds in high school right now, going into his senior year, I think. So that's the top 4. So you add that, plus you got these high power guys like Bryce and Pinheiro and Caleb Larkin, young upstarts who really haven't had a ton of senior level opportunities to even know where they fit. I think this one could be totally thrust into chaos. I really do.
There are so many guys coming off of like recent NCAA success in this bracket. Like if you're an NCAA wrestling fan, you don't really follow a lot of like freestyle. Like there's plenty of people to root for in this.
I mean, Vince Bouzakis.
Well, he's a high schooler.
He's a high schooler, but a guy with real good physicality. Like, I mean, he can compete with these guys. He can win matches here. Yeah, I think I expect total chaos in this. Of course, chalk is always a possibility, but if I had to guess chalk or chaos, I think something crazy is going to happen here.
Yeah, if you're making picks, you go, okay, well, if I had to pick one or the other here, but they're like 60-40 matches or 55-45. So the chances are everything's going to get turned into a big mess.
My chaos pick, the 8 seed over the 1 seed.
Pinheiro
over Alec.
Unbiased.
Cyclone.
But he has to beat Yaya. You know, that's going to be a really close match between Pinheiro and Yaya.
Yeah, maybe you get Cardenas is in.
What
My
version?
unbiased pick is Alec.
That's big of you.
I actually like. That's not obvious. I obviously do actually think that.
He's the 1 seed, so you have to pick him.
I don't have to do anything.
I'll say this. There's no scenario you wouldn't pick him.
True.
What version of JO do we think we're going to see?
I don't know. But the thing is, have we ever seen Jordan have like a terrible performance, like a down performance? Like he's always like
on
good.
the rooftop of the parking garage against.
Oh my god,
that was the worst.
that doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm stricken that from the record.
Yeah, I actually Men in Blacked myself from that match. Like,
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
exactly. Jason Olf and Jordan Oliver participated in an activity on a rooftop.
They rumbled, some would say.
Yeah, but it was like a 1-1.
At what weight?
I don't know.
There was no way in. Well,
There was no way in.
it was literally the first thing from
It's like
COVID.
April or May 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was literally outdoors on top of a roof deck, because of the
Well,
precautions.
that's not that.
They literally were
And
like,
Askren wrestled in a beat the streets on a rooftop. Did he?
that's not the issue with the match.
Okay.
They literally
They just started pushing each other at the shoulders.
They literally both apologized.
Yes.
They were
Yeah.
like, sorry, we should
Yeah.
try that again. I didn't think there was any way that match would be boring, but
I think we see a decent enough shape Jordan Oliver where that's going to be my pick. Because also I've seen what happens when you don't pick Jo when he wins, and he yells at you
yells
from
at
the
you.
stage.
sometimes he yells at me when I picked him.
Yeah. Well, let's
I love Jordan.
get it on there right now.
Jordan's a
Jo
good
is my pick. Don't yell at me.
Yeah, everyone picked Jordan. I'm going to tell him. I'll be like, you picked
Sometimes his mom yells at you.
You picked Alec.
Alec is my good friend.
I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but he won't pick Jordan. It would be so crazy if this is the time that Jordan Oliver represents Team USA. When he's like, guy's been dedicated his life to wrestling, and now he makes the switch to MMA, and then if he made the team,
I'd like to see it.
I'd love to see it for Jordan.
Yeah.
Sometimes
He's definitely, like, a lot of people throw some names out, like best guys to like not make a team, and you could say he sort of
He
did
made a
with it.
team. He made a team.
Sort of, but if you don't go to the thing, it's like, I don't know.
You can't. Yeah.
He made the team.
He didn't get to
not
put
the
on.
event.
He didn't get to put on the singlet at the Worlds tournament.
We're not allowed to call him an Olympian according to all of the people that.
Correct.
Yeah,
All of those
people
rules.
they always push up their glasses.
But an Olympic team member.
No, not even that. Just he won Olympic team trials winner. I
you
got
go.
chastised for calling him Olympic, whatever team member.
Yeah.
That was incorrect.
No words that start with O can you say about him. You'll be
Oliver.
chastised by the brass.
sometimes like saying goodbye to something and then being like, actually, I do love that thing. I want to come back. Like you can come back with a different mindset.
Like when
I
you
agree
did
with that.
stalemates.
Like when I did stalemates
And you hit all those super ducks.
and I hit a million super ducks and did exactly what I wanted to.
Yep. And that video came out and it was really
And
good.
it was a good video.
Want to go 79?
Are we all doing picks?
I don't really want to do picks.
You made a pick for 61.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I want to do it. For
Actually,
all
no,
of
you
them.
didn't. You didn't make
Not
a
really.
Make a pick.
No.
Coward.
I'm a coward.
Will James Green retire inside Nebraska if he doesn't make it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
It feels like this was a long-term.
You're coming back for a non-Olympic weight. Like, just keep going.
Keep going and going. I mean, if he has a really down performance, maybe he reassesses things, but I don't think his. I'm not on shoe watch.
Yeah,
I'm
I was about to
saying
say,
is he's not
on
committing-
shoe watch at 61 and 70.
Like, he's not committing to a quad in the way that like people that their main focus on is on Olympic weight are. He said that 70 kilos is his weight, so like I feel like he's not thinking about it in terms of like I'm committing 4 years. I need to retire in an Olympic.
Is Gross on shoe wash?
I don't know. I don't know if Gross will be a shoe guy or not. He may just be a stop entering tournaments.
Yeah, could be. Pantaleo?
I have no idea.
It's getting
I
up
don't think
there.
so. I hope not.
Michigan insider.
Shut up.
J.O., that's definite shoe watch.
No,
know
I
if he
don't
would
think
do
so.
shoes.
I don't think you come back after fighting and then do a shoe watch. I think
What if you make the finals?
no shoe watch. I think he's
Just you always leave that door open,
yeah.
so you don't have to compete shoeless the next time you
He's not gonna
compete.
he's not gonna close.
That is my rule. You can take your shoes off, but if you compete again after, you must compete shoeless.
Yeah,
That would be tough.
that should be the rule.
There's no rules against that. Let's go 79, please.
79, my weight, my favorite weight, the weight of weights.
It's not your weight, JD.
It is not my weight, but it is my favorite weight here this weekend because Chance Marsteller, Jordan Burroughs, Alex Deringer, Keegan O'Toole, David Carr, Evan Wick, Hunter Garvin, Joey LaValle, Joey Bianchi, Kennedy Monday, and recently thrown his hat in the ring, one Levi Haynes.
Who's not in the pre-seeds yet.
This is
He's
gonna
not in the
be sassy.
pre-seeds, but he will not be pre-seeded high.
No,
He has low pin,
low pin.
low T,
Yeah, that's
IT, low pin.
IT.
no aura.
Yeah. I wonder how much aura factors into the pin.
He does have a lower pin than Hunter Garvin. That I do know.
Yeah, we can look it up actually. All right, so I thought about this a lot. I feel strongly this is gonna be Jordan versus Chance part 3 in the 2 out of 3.
Strongly.
Strongly feel that way because the matchups for me, I think Chance actually matches up really well against Keegan and Carr. I think the
do
first
too.
time out, he's so low, so powerful. I think first feel, I think that's a really tough matchup for both those guys. I really do. I think they're going to have a hard time generating offense. He's so opportunistic. He's so cagey and savvy. I think that's a decent path for him. And then on the flip side, Jordan versus Ringer. I've seen it, right? And it was Jordan. And certainly neither are younger at this point in time, but I just don't know if I see it. Now, then again, if Deringer gets one of those 4s, it can change things. But I've seen Jordan be able to battle back, giving up a 4 to Alex Deringer. I really think we're going to see it again. Now, Kennedy Monday is interesting. Jordan will have either Kennedy or Garvin in that quarter. Like, not a pushover, probably not a 10-0 match for Jordan, if I had to guess. Like, he's not going to blitz his way through this field. But I do think we see it again. I feel strongly it's Chance versus Jordan in the 2 out of 3, which I think is absolutely perfect.
I originally said I don't think they were going to make it to each other. And then the seeds came out, and I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, Ringer Marsteller is much more dangerous for Chance, I think, than Keegan Carr. Whenever. I mean, we saw Ringer beat Marsteller at 86.
And is it weird to say this, that if you flipped it, like, would you be a little like, oh, would you be more upset watch for Jordan if he was going through Keegan? Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
You say yes?
maybe.
I'm kind of just like he's wrestled Alex. He kind of knows what's happening. But then again, I don't know. First time, first crack for Keegan. Maybe that's a disadvantage.
I feel like
for
he's
him.
so not worried about those guys to the extent that he invited David Carr to come train with him before this tournament.
That is so crazy. That's literally like.
And like you saw, I don't know, he handily controlled Mitchell Messenbrink at the trials.
He really did.
So I think that those guys just really aren't quite on his level.
You're right.
I also think
You're right.
I also think Keegan is a much different wrestler, a much better wrestler right now than Mitchell. Like, advanced in terms of potential to take out Jordan. Like, Jordan can just big brother Mitchell, and
You don't
he's
think
not
he
going to
could
get
do that to Keegan. Jason Knopf big brothered Keegan.
Yeah, to an
US
extent, just not the same extent he could with Mitchell.
We need a brother hierarchy. Who's the biggest brother and who's big
Correct.
brother to someone else?
Keegan's like middle brother, Mitchell's little brother.
Okay.
Jordan Burroughs is. I said Jo.
I don't know the youngest
And
brother.
AJ is the father. Raising a young family. No, so I think it's going to be Jordan versus Chance again. And I don't know what series it'll most closely resemble. And part of me wants it to be like the 2023 one, minus like, I don't want any singlet pulls to decide matches. I don't want to be debating the four. I don't want any
Out of
coaches having to
bounds.
scream. Like I want it to be clear, but I want it to be like as competitive. And for me, let's just talk about the 2 out of 3. If it happens again, the big adjustment is for Jordan to make and keeping Chance off his legs, because Jordan's leg defense is not quite what it used to be, right? In terms of when guys get in, it used to be that was a rarity and guys really had a hard time scoring. Now guys are getting in and he gets the splits and guys are able to score. So for Jordan, I think just being extra persistent and positionally not giving Chance those opportunities, because Chance showed he can get in, and when he does, he was able to finish. And that was really the number one problem for Jordan, was Chance could get in and score on him. And then of course, Chance presents a lot of positional issues.
In multiple matches, Jordan kind of stood upright while he was circling out of hand fighting. And that is when Chance was able to shoot in and get into that high crotch. And even after match 1, we had a video where we were kind of filming Jordan talking to Slay and Manning, like in the hallway off of match 1. He's like, man, he recognized that he was standing more upright out of the tie. And then he did it again in like match 2 or 3. I don't remember which one, but that's how Chance scored on him again. And so it's like, okay, now you come away from that weekend. Is that something you'd like are drilling and focusing on, making sure that you're staying in your stance against this guy, because that's how he was able to capitalize on you a couple times?
I think absolutely. And I think, Jordan is like the savviest, most tactical wrestler I think I've ever seen, but that wasn't an adjustment he was able to make on the fly. But now I think over a year, it's been almost 2 years now, year and a half since that match. I think the adjustments will have been made there. And, but Chance is thinking that way too, because you have two of the most these are thinking men's wrestlers, right? Mm-hmm. These are guys that are thinking, all right, what is Jordan going to do? Like Chance is for sure thinking about, all right, if I were Jordan, how would I change? And then if that were the change, what would I do? Mm-hmm. That's why it's fascinating. I really hope I think it would be perfect if we saw it one more time. And who would have thought the Chance Marsteller and Jordan Burroughs would be like this, one of the iconic rival chapters in Jordan Burroughs' career? I never would have thought that.
Yeah.
Right?
Or in Chance Marceller's career.
Or in Chance's.
Yeah, who would have thought? Most people, I would say, were thinking that Chance is not going to have a career at this point in his life, like at a competitive level.
Yeah.
I feel like my thought after 22, I hate to say this, but like after 22, he beat Jordan. And then he lost the series, and it's like that felt like Chance's opportunity.
Yeah,
I almost said Chance's chance, but I didn't want to be cliche like that.
Okay. But you pointed it out.
Like it felt like, all right, he probably won't make it to Jordan again, and then he did the next year too. So it's like maybe we've been saying we don't know if this matchup would happen, but maybe we should stop thinking like that.
But yeah, that's exactly how I'm thinking. And then you want to talk about feeling like you blew your opportunity. Think about match 1 of Final X in 23. He's got it won, and he loses on a single pull. Then you're like, all right, that was really his other opportunity.
Yeah.
And then
he beat him twice after that.
Twice. So, yeah.
What about the transitive property of Alex Deringer having the win over Marsteller at Olympic team trials most recently, and then Marsteller having the most recent win over Burroughs?
Oh, the law of syllogism.
86.
It was 86.
I think that's what I think.
You think Deringer loses a little power when he comes down?
Mm-hmm. I think we've seen that.
I don't think so.
Okay. We'll see.
Is Chance on shoe watch?
Ooh.
Nah.
I don't think so.
I think if anyone, Ringer.
I feel like he's not a guy like that,
I don't think he is either. Also, knowing this is Jordan Burroughs' last year, or at least we all believe it is. So you go, that's the guy I got to beat right now. I have beaten him. Now, if he retires next year or this year, if he loses, then I get to run the table for a couple of years, or I'm the favorite for a couple of years. That's got to be enticing.
Yeah.
Especially if Jordan and Ringer retire.
He still hasn't gotten his world medal yet, too. He represented us that 1 year, but didn't bring home a medal, so I'm sure he still wants that.
And that was such a down performance for Chance at that World Championship. It really didn't feel like he represented himself the way he could have. I'm sure that's in the back of his mind. So, yeah, I think we're going to see it. I'm not making any predictions, but I am predicting that's the final. And how incredible will that be if it happens again? And, yeah, you should definitely be on shoe watch for Jordan. I mean, if he loses, it feels like they're coming off in Nebraska.
Seems like he has said one last ride in one of his
That's how he
poster
said.
video.
No, he said they can't have all the fun.
And in that Rudis video that we encourage you to watch it, it's on their YouTube channel. He basically is talking about this being his last.
He's like, if you're an artist and you had one last canvas, how would you want to paint it?
Yeah. So you don't say that if trials and worlds are not it.
Well, who knows how big the canvas is or how long of a period of time the canvas lasts.
Last, he said.
Well, last 3 years.
This could be his last career. Like, what? No, that's said with intentionality, in my opinion.
92, one last time on the record before we go. Is David Taylor going to wrestle?
I know he's not registered, but I maintain I'm doing maintenance. I believe that he will. Now, who knows?
This is the worst part about wrestling. We don't know if this great Olympic champion is going to wrestle this weekend or not.
But that's the way it goes. That's whatever the rules are. He can wait. And for David, David's not worried about hyping up nothing. It's like, I'm waiting. If something happens, if I roll my ankle and I can't wrestle, I don't want to have created all this hubbub and then I can't go. It's just a miniature hubbub.
So instead,
has he tried using Photoshop against Zahid to hype this up?
Oh,
I'm
Has
sure
he considered that?
then it would
sure he's
escalate to
considered
hullabaloo, way above hubbub.
That's what we need. So yeah, I think he is, but I mean, I'm not going to be shocked if he doesn't at this point.
Yeah.
It's a weird deal. Hope he does. If he does, he makes a team.
And if he doesn't, do you feel like pretty confident in picking Trent Hudley to make it through the challenge and wrestle Zahid best 2 out of 3? Or
Pretty confident in Trent. Connor Mirasola has entered. Not that I think he's ready to probably win that match. In shape, Pat Downey is always interesting, but I'm making a bold prediction by predicting shape. But if he is, I would love to see it.
I don't see Pat Downey beating Mike Mock.
Yeah. I understand.
That would be a quarterfinal.
I think they're buddies.
Are they?
I think so.
I mean, Mike Mock is friends with He's the nicest guy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Anyone.
Pat needs Mike Mock in his life in a more permanent.
When I went to Pennsylvania to interview Jackson Bowe, I asked them if they were really excited to get any calls from anyone, and they didn't mention any coaches that they were excited to get calls from. Bowe just goes, "You know who I want to be a coach? Mike Mock. He's awesome. Like I want to get a call from him."
Yeah.
Just like randomly brought up Mike Mock. This guy, everyone loves this man.
That's the reputation of Mike Mock.
Mm-hmm.
He's my first conversation with Mike Mock, I think, was like 2018 Worlds when I'm pretty new to the job, and it's the USA Wrestling, freestyle dinner or whatever. And Mike's just like hanging out, and we start chatting, and I'm like, "This was awesome! Like I didn't know anybody else here. Bader's running around, Mike Mao's running around, and I'm just having a fun conversation with Machiavello I met for the first time.
He almost gives like The Rock energy and just like most likable person, like, you know what I mean?
No.
Tall, buff dude who's just very likable.
Yeah.
That's that.
He's very likable.
Just like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. No, it feels like Trent's a big favorite to make it to Zahid, and then Zahid would be a big favorite to be on the team at 92.
Yeah.
Feels more simple.
Zahid's got so many good wins under his belt, and he was right there with Brooks, and he's
Literally.
just too much on the resume. And then Trent, just one step below. He's got some great wins and good resume as well. But it's a fun weight. I think those early rounds are going to be fun. You got a guy like Aiden Sinclair, Pat Downey, obviously. Cam Caffey is a lot of fun. Giaiello. I mean, these are guys that are fun to watch.
Yeah. No doubt. So 92, just kind of all about DT watch. Do we want to get to some?
I think I'm not going to predict it, but Zahid might get him.
You think so?
I'm giving him a good chance.
I'm giving him a chance.
Holy cow! It's 11:40.
Wow.
We've been doing OT.
Ever.
The beef took up a good chunk. I mean, you have Spencer to lead us off. That was a nice chunk. And
Yeah.
The beef.
We don't have that many cues if you want to get to some.
Yeah, real quick. Maybe the best. Not the no hot
We literally
takes.
have 3.
Okay.
You don't want to give a Tuesday headline hot take for World Team Trials?
No. Well, y'all can.
I don't have a hot
I
take.
don't have a hot
I
take.
already said all my opinions.
Panero Johnson, your U23 and senior World Team member.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't
Which one happens first?
What's the Tuesday headline?
U23s or seniors?
seniors and then U23s after.
Really? Okay.
All
I
right.
think.
I don't think.
Sure. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm
I
wrong.
think you're wrong.
Yeah, I think it's U23s and seniors.
If he makes a senior team, they'll be like, you're not doing U23s, dude.
Double up.
I'm shutting that down.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You ain't wrestling U23s, Panero.
All right. First question from Info on Twitter. What do you guys think is the most underrated wrestling nation?
This is easy.
Donation.
Yeah.
What is it?
America.
What? We're not underrated, dude.
Totally underrated by Americans.
Okay.
By the people that surround me, who would seek to change everything about this nation.
You always,
and how we
you always
raise
say you don't want to have this argument, but you always bring it up and end up making.
I didn't
yourself
bring it
look
up.
bad.
I'm just answering. No, I'm answering this guy's
No one ever
question.
said let's tear down everything. We just said if it was whatever. I don't, you know what? I'm not even gonna take the bait.
I will
You baited me
say,
and I won't
like,
take it.
I don't think we are underrated at all. Like,
I mean, y'all tried to use India and Iran as examples of. Like,
no.
But that was brought up.
Yes, yes, only to prove.
Stop it.
Only to
Stop
prove
it.
that
We
it is
are
possible to get a good gas tank while wrestling freestyle. That it is possible to get a good gas tank
Get the Indians
without wrestling folk style.
This guy genuinely
you can get in
thinks
good
that-
shape without having to get out from bottom. I don't know if you knew that.
You can get in good shape without wrestling at all.
Exactly.
This guy thinks that training folk style makes you better at freestyle. What an absurd take.
Training at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
It's just like I get that you love folk style and you don't want to get rid of it, and we're not trying to take it from you, but don't say things like that.
Now fight.
I'm gonna go with Kyrgyzstan personally.
Okay.
They're getting a lot of love recently, but
They really have been doing well.
Many fans at the Olympics. What was the other one?
The most smokingest coaches there are. They couldn't wait to smoke.
You think they're super hot?
that's what it sounded like at first.
They like to smoke cigarettes.
A couple smoke shows on that coaching staff.
Any of the stands, those are the most likely to
Kazakhstan.
light a heater right after a match.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I
Well,
think that-
they still think it provides health benefits.
We were talking about this question this morning, and Spay brought up Germany.
I think Germany and Poland both have resources. They have a culture of wrestling that's a little underrated. Germany has a pro league that has been going on under the radar for decades called the Bundesliga, which is what I think just means like top level. It's what they call their soccer league. But you're starting to see a little bit more. There was who was the
Horst?
guy? The Horse
How could we
Slayer,
forget about Horse Slayer?
and then
Manwagon?
Manwagon is another young guy. I mean, these are their names, but maybe we're pronouncing them wrong. I'm not.
Well, we're shortening Manwagon a little bit. It's like
Mansoor.
Mansoor Wagon.
Yeah, but it is wagon. Wagin.
Manwagon.
Yeah, but the most underrated nation, domination. Thank you.
beautiful.
That was great.
Last one is just. This isn't a question, but he's shocked. FRL on Twitter said, "Realized a month after the Olympics, I placed a parlay for Zhamalov and Kyuka to win gold."
I would like
Not
to
a question, but not too bad, right?
I would like to take a bet. I'll put $500 that didn't happen.
I kind of believe it, but
You don't just forget that when you do
no.
that.
Here's what we're dealing with. This is probably someone that's a compulsive gambler. We need to
Place
put up,
many
we need
bets.
to put up the
If you're a compulsive gambler, you do not forget a parlay
maybe.
and just realize months later.
Yeah, I think I read.
Shocked FRL. I want you to send us a screenshot. This will be very provable.
Sure.
You can X out the amount you bet. That's maybe your business, but you should be able to
don't
create
unit
that
shame.
in a way.
Help us dunk on JD.
Yeah, because I believe this happened.
Dunk all over me if you want. Prove it.
I think I read about this happening on the latest edition of Things That Never Happened.
Yeah.
Wow, you don't think? All right, I believe in shocked FRL.
I believe it.
So
I'm with
Spay
JD.
and
If you're making these bets, you are sweating out those wins.
Yeah. I mean, I could see forgetting about it throughout the course of the tournament, but then you don't just go back 2 months later and like, let me check in on my bet.
I do agree, not bad, and a nice payout.
What I'm hearing is that Spay and JD hate our fans, and also hate fun.
And I
don't hate him. I'm just calling him a liar.
And that's
He's
our
friends
show.
with plenty of liars. I'm a liar myself sometimes.
He's exaggerating. He's playing with the truth.
Okay, we'll see. I believe in him. I believe fully in Shocked FRL that he's a compulsive gambler and he has a problem. That's how much I believe. Let's get out of here. World Team Trials Saturday and Sunday live on Flow Wrestling. Every round, every match. Finals, 2 out of 3, Saturday and Sunday.
There are some insane round of 16, some insane quarterfinals. You don't want to just tune in for the semifinals.
You would be a fool to do such a thing. So make sure you're tuning in. I'm going. JD's going. Spay, are you going?
I'm there.
He's there.
I'll be there in the
Andy
morning at the
Hamilton.
airport.
The only one not invited to the party.
Connor Petros is going.
Ready or not.
Sweet Prince. Introduce yourself to the Sweet Prince. You're going to want to meet him. And you don't want to meet this guy.
Well, I won't be there, so you won't have to.
I know. See you guys. Thank you. See ya. Thanks, Spencer. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.